Crypto Hotep here with another trading video. Guys, this video is just going to be another market update, and if we have time, we will go through some of the altcoin trades in my spot altcoin trading portfolio. Before we do that, before we jump in, we gotta pay the bills. Shout out to Coinbase, who is sponsoring this video as they always do. Coinbase and Crypto Hotep have a partnership together. As you guys know, if you've been following the channel, I've been using Coinbase for 5 years now, and they have been the best broker by far. I have used other brokerages for crypto spot trading, but I've always come back to Coinbase. If you do have a Coinbase account, feel free, use the link. If you don't, feel free and use the link. Either way, you'd be supporting the channel without having to reach for your wallet or purse. And as always, guys, if these videos are helpful at all for you, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. What you see on the screen here is Bitcoin's monthly returns from, it looks like 2013 all the way to 2025. And the main reason why I brought that up on the screen here before we get into the charts is you have to remember a couple things. Bitcoin historically does not do well in September, as you can see here. Now, one thing I did notice though is if you look at 2023 and 2024, surprisingly, those were back-to-back green months of September. And then October picked up, and then November picked up after that. So who knows what we'll have in store this year. But if we're looking at historical performances, September is normally a down month for crypto, and for September it's normally like the calm before the storm being the run up for Bitcoin and crypto in general. So I mean, even though we did have some decent enough gains in 2024 and 2023, we had a rough patch from 2017 to 2022 here of nothing but red in September, and like down -13, 5, 7. So just keep that in mind when we look at September. Yeah, everything's kind of at a standstill, and it seems the price action seems kind of choppy, but that's not uncommon in crypto. So we'll go to the charts here. So if I go to, we'll start with one of my favorite charts, which is the USDC dominance chart. Okay, so the last time we made this video, we looked at USDC dominance, and it had not been broken, or the the drop had not occurred yet. So since then, the drop had occurred, and as I mentioned before, price always comes back to retest a key level. Well, this was our key level because this is where bearish price action just came about. And how do we categorize bearish price action in a key level? Well, if we're speaking about bearish price action, it's one bullish candle that precedes the bearish price action. So we see a bullish candle here, and then right after that bullish candle, we have 1, 2, 3 bearish candles to the downside. This level caused that big movement right here. So naturally, price will go up. After breaking down, price will come up to retest this area just to see if there's any more sells or buys, if it is a weekly demand area, and to see where it is. So currently, USDC dominance is retesting in this weekly level here, and what we would like to see in this level is a rejection to the downside. We want to see a nice rejection to the downside, but as we are aware, if you've been following the channel in my videos, if the USDC dominance is in the green, which these green candles do depict that, then that means your altcoins are probably bleeding out and everything's down, which it is currently. This is probably one of the best charts, is the USDC dominance chart, because it's basically the invert of the altcoin market. Okay, so my thoughts currently is, as long as we can get this rejection We still have about almost 3 days left in the weekly close here. What I would like to see, and I'll zoom in here, I would like to see this area not be closed above. So I don't want to see the weekly close go above this area. I would like to have that stay somewhat right here. Somewhat right here. Have it close somewhat here, and then that way I know that a rejection can come fairly quickly. If not, then this might just keep drawing on for several more weeks, and I'd rather just get a nice clean rejection if we can here. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance chart, as we saw before, it did finally break again. Dominance broke to the downside. This created a weekly level here that we will now watch. If the dominance comes back up and retests it, you could have argued that this was also a strong demand weekly level that got broken out. And since it did get broken, we took it off and we're not worried about that level anymore. And now dominance is in this nice weekly demand area. How do we know that's a weekly demand area? Well, as we mentioned before, one bearish candle that precedes 3 or more green candles right here, as you can see. So this is a nice strong weekly level. We'd be expecting some sort of movement from these candles with the interaction in this level here. So right now we're just waiting, but as you can see here, momentum has somewhat shifted based on the wicks of these candles. If the Bitcoin dominance was continuously going down without any interruption, these wicks would actually be longer than the last wick. But as you can see right now, this wick is long, this one's passing this wick, but this second candle wick here is a little bit shorter than this one. So there's been a little bit of pause here. Not saying that we're going to get a big giant move back up here for Bitcoin dominance, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go to our altcoin market. That's where we primarily want to look at here. So our altcoin market, total 3. I really don't have anything different to say because the last time I made a video and now price really hasn't done too much. Price is currently sitting in this weekly level right here. Okay, it's a weekly mitigated level as well. Why is it mitigated? Well, because it's touched this point and this point within this level, and then it's sold off, and then we came right back up here. So one thing that is encouraging that I will say is there has been no strong rejection to the downside, unlike this time and this time here back in December, and then back in January we saw major rejection to the downside. We're not seeing that right now. What we're seeing price somewhat stabilizing around this area. So what I would like for price to do, because again we are in September, so we just have to keep that in mind, is just keep in line with this level. I don't care if it's choppy price action or what, it could just stay in line with this level so it's not rejected. And then at the beginning of October, maybe middle of October, we can see a nice push up here in this area, and then that'll be kind of the grand finale before the sell-off. So that's what I'm thinking currently. In addition to that, we also have, if we look here, before when the time frame was around December 2024, and we interacted with this weekly level, you'll see here on the RSI, we were in extreme overbought territory. Very similarly right here as well, when we sold off 40% and then 42%. We're not at that point right now with RSI. That's another thing to point out. So we definitely have another leg up to get into this extreme overbought territory to then sell off accordingly. Okay. And ironically, air quotes, most of these run-ups happened towards the middle to the end of October. right? So let's look at this. This started around the 28th of October, 2024, and then that move went up. And then here, right here, we had a big, long, just up and down price movement right here until around 2023, and then price then cascaded up. So that's what I'm thinking. I think we still have a nice leg up here with the altcoins. It's just going to take some patience. We can go to the ETH BTC chart because that's very encouraging as well. So your ETH BTC chart saw somewhat of a V-shaped recovery. So nothing but downside right here without any really bullish price action since June 2024. And then we finally broke loose and broke up to the upside here, which is good. Now, one thing to note is we are being stopped by this supply level right here. And why is that a supply level? Well, again, one bullish candle before the next 3 bearish candles right here. So that's a key level. So we would expect some sort of reaction to that. So we can see that right here. Now, in addition to that, what also happened was we also have new demand level right here. So not only did we break the downtrend, we also developed a new demand level at 0.02347 as well. What I would like, or I would hope we would do, is very similar to what Total 3 would do in the last explanation I gave. Stay somewhat just ranging in this area. As long as we're below the 50 EMA, or I should say above the 50 EMA and below the 200 EMA, and we're kind of sandwiched in between them, I don't mind us just ranging, staying on this level, and popping up into this area right here. That would be good with me. If that happens, all coins are flying and the party's going. Okay. Let's go to the ETH chart. ETH chart, very similar. Okay. ETH chart, very similar right here. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of, again, January 2024. You get a nice little dip here and then pop up. Very similar. We're at the RSI. We got a nice little dip here, and then I'm expecting a pop up right here. So, my conservative estimate on Ethereum for this cycle, I would say around 55, 6,000 or so. Could it go to 10? It potentially could. But I would say a conservative estimate would be that. And then either we hold this 45 near this 4,500 level, or it's just a fake breakout and we crash back down to 3,600. Okay? But again, I still think we have some more gas in the tank. Okay, and we'll go to Bitcoin, and then we'll try to touch base on a couple of the alts in our altcoin portfolio. So Bitcoin looks fantastic. This is all Bitcoin's chart is something out of a movie here. So it's a very, very consistent chart. It's higher highs and higher lows, and it's literally stair stepping all the way up. It's very easy to read this. Very easy. So again, we do have price dipping down, but until we break the 100K mark, which is right here, this demand level, which has just been created, I really don't have any concern for bears to come in here. So as long as we hold this strong, I think we're good to go. And I know we mentioned the altcoin portfolio, so we'll just jump right into the altcoin portfolio here very quickly. So with my altcoin portfolio, I did take profits on CRO, which I mentioned in my last video. I believe it was over 100% gain on that. So that's why we're a little bit USD heavy here, because we haven't really bought anything. But as you can see here, we're still in the green for Airdrome, Uniswap C, Graph, and Near, we're still in the red here. So all in all, I think we have some room to go, guys. If this video is helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I'm not a financial advisor, and please DYOR those tokens, guys. And as always, thank you and happy trading.